Hey, what's up guys? In this video, I want to walk you through a live campaign optimization session for one of my new affiliate Google Ads campaigns to give you an idea for how to optimize your own campaigns once you start collecting some data. This is perfect, especially for beginners once you start spending those initial hundreds or thousands of dollars to ensure that you're going in the right direction and not wasting any more unnecessary spend. I also know how intimidating optimization can be at the start, so I created a chart that we're going to follow in this video that we can use to make the process super easy and streamlined. Now, this is actually a segment for my new membership site that is coming out by the end of the year, where I go over the A to Z of marketing online, including building out a professional looking website, optimizing it, setting up Google Analytics and Tag Manager, setting up email marketing campaigns and automations, and of course, running paid ads via Google, Facebook ads, and more. If you want to be the first to know when it's out, just sign up to my list at ivanmana.com, and I'll even throw in my free affiliate marketing guide in the process. That said, enough talk, and let's get into it. So now let's go through a live optimization session so that you can see how to optimize your new campaign once you start collecting that data, especially the first hundreds or thousands of dollars that matter the most, so that you can tell if you're going in the right direction or not. So in this case, we're going to be reviewing this VPN reviews campaign because it has the most amount of clicks and data compared to the other ones. But whatever I show you here in this video, you will simply apply to all your other campaigns that you have running. So we're going to click here, and this might be intimidating at first. You might see lots of data. If you have many different ad groups here, you might say, where do I start? What do I look at? What metrics do I look at? So I've created this little optimization formula for you here, this little sheet that we will be able to use and go step by step in order to find where we have the problems that we need to fix and where we can scale and where we can do better, right? Because that's all optimization is. It's just removing what's not working and scaling what is. Simple as that. So let's get started. So we're going to come down here to the first step. So step one is to get a bird's eye view of all your campaigns, ad groups, ads, and keywords, okay? So we can come in here and we can look at this campaign and we can see how well are we doing. If you have the conversion data, then you would be asking, is my return on ad spend positive or is it negative? Is it over 1 or is it less than 1? That will guide you as to what you should focus on. Should you focus on scaling if you have a good ROAS, or should you focus on fixing your targeting, adjusting your targeting a little bit, maybe adjusting your bid because something is off, right? So here we're looking at this at the ad group level. And if you still don't have your columns up, as we have here, we named our column set to the conversions column. This is the best column set that I found that I use to measure my performance and see how well my ads, ad groups, campaigns, keywords are doing. So if you still haven't set up your columns, just make sure to refer back to the columns lesson in the module. So we're getting a bird's eye view, right? We're looking at this. How well is our ROAS? Now, in this case, again, affiliate campaign, we don't have that data. So then we want to go down and ask these questions. Are we getting enough impressions? Are we getting enough clicks? Over here, we are getting enough impressions and clicks. We're not constrained. We're not struggling to get, 10 impressions or 100 impressions. We're getting a good amount. And if you look at the cost per click, and the maximum cost per click that I said here, this is the most that we can get for our cost per click bid. So we are getting indeed the most amount of impressions and the clicks that we can get. So we're not really constrained. We do have that data. Now the next questions are, am I constrained by budget or am I constrained by low bid? So again, this is what will determine where you want to look at, right? Because if you're constrained by budget, you want to look at the campaign level, see what the budget is, and if the campaign is doing well, then you want to increase the budget in 20% intervals every few days. So in this case, our campaign is not limited by budget. If we go back into campaigns, I set it to $500 a day, so we weren't constrained by budget. And from the looks of it, it looks like we are constrained by bid. But this is something that we will look at once we go further into the keywords and the ads. So this gives us an idea of where we should start. So if we're not constrained by impressions or clicks, that means it doesn't have anything to do with us not having enough keywords or us not having relevant keywords or relevant ads. So if we're not getting any sales, it looks like the issue here has something to do with the targeting, neither of these factors. So we're going to start from the beginning then. We're going to come back here and start at the keyword level. So that's the biggest, or rather the smallest building block of your campaigns. So the first thing we want to do is look at the status message. Let me close that. We want to see if the keywords have any status messages. That's the first thing we want to look at. So let's click on this ad group and let's see what keywords we have here. Best VPN service, top VPN, best VPN. fastest VPN. So we want to see if it has any status warnings. So if you even hover over the campaign, it will tell you more details. So that is just something that you want to look at first. It just gives you a little bit of a hint as to what you should be looking for. For example, if it says not shown due to low quality score, then you know that you need to fix the relevance. If it says below first page bid, then you know that you need to fix your bid. If it says low search volume, then you know the issue has to do with you needing to add more keywords, okay? So that's the first thing you want to do, is pay attention to the status message, and that will give you a direction to go in terms of what exactly you want to change and look at here at the keyword level. Now, the next thing we want to look at is the quality score. So this is what's going to determine our placement in the Google auction, right? So for brand keywords, a quality score of 8 to 10 is what you should be looking for. For non-brand keywords, anywhere 5 to 8 is acceptable. So in our case, if we come back here and we go to, okay, we don't have that. Let's select our conversions column. If we come into the quality score, we see all our quality scores here for the keywords. So they do range from 5 to 10, and that's fine because we're not brand bidding. We're not using brand terms. The lowest keyword is top VPN. So this is just at that little threshold of the minimum acceptable value. So this is perhaps a keyword that we want to look at and compare it with our ad copy and our landing page to see what's going on, okay? So we're going to have this in mind. But the rest of the keywords seem okay in terms of the quality score, because this, in addition to your bid, is what determines your ad rank, right? This is what determines where your ads are shown. And if we come over here, we'll see that our search top impression is very, very low. It's less than 10%. And when we look at this column here, search lost due to rank, we know that the issue is with the rank. So it's either our bid or our quality score. Our quality score is okay. It's not incredible, but it's not bad. It's not a 2 or 3 or 4. So it probably has something to do with the bid. And if we come over here, we can see that the average cost per click here is just under the maximum that I set here. So what we would do here is we would use the keyword planner to see what the acceptable actually values are. So we're going to go into tools, planning, keyword planner, open it in a new tab. And actually we're treading on this point here. So search impression share loss to rank. Do our ads suck or is our bid too low? So let's check. So we saw our ads or our keywords with the quality scores of about 5 to 8, which is okay. It's acceptable. But let's look at the bids. Let's see if our bids match what we're supposed to be paying. So our countries here, let's first enter the countries, are United States, they're Australia. We targeted all the tier 1 countries, New Zealand and United Kingdom. Okay, so we want to make sure that that matches so that we get a representation of the interest and the bids. So let's come back here and let's use, for example, this keyword here, best VPN service. So let's see what people are paying for this or other companies. Best VPN service. We can type in top VPN. We can type in best VPN, right? Best VPN, and let's just go with that. Let's go get results and let's see what the bid should be ideally. So if we come down here, if we look at this, best VPN service, top VPN, best VPN. So the minimum is $6, the top of page. The low range is this. Of course, I got clicks, as you can see, and I got impressions for $1. But the problem is that our ads, as you can see here, the search top impression share is less than 10%. What that means is that our ads show up way below the organic searches. And if they show up way below organic searches, that doesn't mean they show up just below them. That means they show up at the very bottom of the page. So people had to go through all the top ads, the top up to 4 ads. They had to go through all the organic searches to see our ad. What does that tell you about the person doing that? That they're not ready to buy. They're just shopping, right? They're just looking around. They're just getting ideas. They're not at that bottom of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel phase yet when they are actually ready to buy. We want to serve our ads hot and ready at the very top. Those are the ads that get the most conversions. So we want to make sure that we do whatever we can to do so. So if we come over here, we see the minimum, right, that is generally acceptable for the top of page bid is $4 for this keyword. And we're paying $1. We're offering $1. So the first thing we need to do is increase our bid from $1 to at least, I'd say $6, right? To match these minimums. The top of page bid, the high range, is $21. These are probably for the companies that have a big funnel that bring customers in and then remarket to them, and then they have a whole operation going on. So they can afford the high cost per clicks. And that's something that we should be aiming for too. because we have a one-page lander, which I will show you once we get to the landing page, you will see, but it's just a one-pager. So we need to get as much of a remarketing audience from that one-pager as we can, right? So one of the things we could do is increase the bid. So we would come in here, and the first thing we would do is go to the ad group level and just increase the bid. Increase it from 1 to 6. Yes, it's going to be more expensive, but the quality of your traffic is going to go up. We're going to hit save. And what I also like to do is keep track of all the changes. So we can come in here and we can say 1, increased bid from $1 to 6. Now you will see this in the history. You're going to see this in the changes history over here. So if you come here, you'll see all the changes that were done. But I like to keep a separate notepad. I think it's a little cleaner and it just gives me everything at a glance. And moreover, just for the purpose of this lesson, you will be able to see the exact changes that we did with this optimization session. So we'll come back here to the ad groups, and that's the first thing we needed to do is increase the bid, because our bid is way too low for these keywords, especially for these exact match keywords, right? So then let's come back over here. So we've determined that even though our keyword quality scores are okay, it's our bid that's really struggling here. That's really the factor that's causing issues. And of course, we will look at the ads as well. Absolutely. We're going to look at the relevance. But the main obvious thing we wanted to do is change the bid. So that's that thing over there. Now, the biggest thing for keywords is the search term report. So we'll come back in here and we can close out of that. Let's come back here. So now we want to look at all of these keywords and what people are actually typing in to see our ads. So over here, we spent $550 on this ad group, right? On this campaign. So we can come in here, we can select all of these and we can say search terms. And then we can see the exact search terms that people typed in to show our ads. And remember the average CTR of our keywords, right? Again, if we go back to keywords, the average CTR here across all of these keywords is about 10%. That's the average CTR. With some of these keywords really bringing the average down. You get some really good CTRs like this one, fastest VPN, and then you get some that are very bad. So anything below a 10% CTR is something that we're going to be really looking at and seeing why. So let's click here and let's see what people are actually typing in. And right there, right off the bat, we see the biggest culprit, VPN. We spent half of our entire campaign budget on this search term. We have a 7% CTR. And of course, if you have conversions, let's click on search term report. If you have any conversion data, you would be able to see it here and see how many conversions the keywords actually got you. And actually, I don't know what happened to the columns that we set here with the cost per conversion and the conversion value per cost and the conversion rate, conversion value. So any of these that you can look at as well, let's replace. You will see all the data for that here as well. So not just all conversions. And then if we think about it, VPN, that's just so broad. That is very broad. It's at the very, very top of the funnel because people typing in VPN could be searching for a plethora of things. They could be searching for what is a VPN. They could be searching for give me examples of VPN. They could be looking for a specific VPN and just forgot the name and they just type in VPN hoping they'll see it. So this is just way too broad for us. Even though this is an exact match keyword, funny paradox, this is actually way too broad for us. Funny enough. So what I like to do is I like to open my little notepad here and just add a list of all the themes and the exact keywords that I don't like that we would later add as negative keywords. So here I would type in VPN by itself. And the reason why I prefer a notepad instead of just clicking on it and saying add as negative keyword is because with a notepad, I can also keep track of the themes. So for example, if I see a lot of free, like free VPN, right? I don't want to put free VPN as itself as an exact match negative keyword. I want to remove the whole word free. So that's why it's easier for me to just keep track of everything in a notepad, and then we'll just copy and paste everything from there. So right off the bat, we've determined the biggest culprit is VPN with over half of our entire budget spent with a very low click-through rate compared to our average. And that's probably what the issue is, right? This is just way too broad. So we want to add that. We take a look at this one, best VPN. This is fine because our site has to do with the VPN. Let me just quickly show you the website, by the way, just so you guys get an idea while we're talking through all this. Search keywords. So this is the site, top 7 best VPNs for 2024, right? We have all of these different affiliate links here. And this is a little one-pager. That's all there is to it. So somebody just typing in VPN, they're not ready for this yet. They're not there yet. So we want to add that VPN as a negative keyword because they're too up in the funnel for us to want to effectively target them. So let's, again, reset. Let's click on search terms. And Let's just go down the list. So best VPN 2024, this one's got a 20% click-through rate. This one's very good. Top VPN, this one's not bad. Top VPN, it's almost there at that 10% mark, but it's still above average, so that's okay. Strongest VPN, best VPN in the world. Okay, so all of these match the idea, right? The concept of, hey, VPN review. They all match that theme. Then you have online VPN. So online VPN has a super low CTR. Now, if you have the conversion data, of course, you would still match that with conversion data. Don't pick one blindly over the other. So if you have a low click-through rate, but a high conversion rate, then go with that, right? Conversion rate is always priority. But regardless, a 4% CTR is still very low. So we want to take this. And again, you can either click here and just add as negative keyword, or what I like to do is add it in a notepad. And we don't want to say online VPN like that as a broad match negative keyword. We want to put it as an exact. So only when somebody types in online VPN exactly do we want to exclude it from our list, not when somebody types in like best online VPN, for example, right? We don't want to exclude that. So let's keep going down the list. So 25%, 13%, 25%. You could also filter by CTR, but in this case, I'm filtering by click so that we see the ones that have some meaningful data in there. And honestly, these ones don't have much meaningful data. So whether we see a high CTR or a low CTR, it really doesn't matter, because there's just not enough data. But at this point, we're just using common sense and just using our logic from the first search terms that we've investigated into these other ones. So these are all in Russian. They all seem to match. So the question here would be, when people are typing these in, do they even understand what we're doing, right? So right off the bat, what I want to do here is I want to come into campaigns and I want to see if these people understand the language in our ads. So we're going to click here and we're just going to look at the languages and see if we have English only. So yeah, language is English only. So people that are typing that in Russian, they do, or they should at least understand it. But that's certainly something you want to check if you get searches like that. So let's come back into here again, search terms, or you could go into, by the way, search terms right over here under insights and reports. But I'm still used to doing it this way, as they had it like that a few years ago. So we just go down the list, VPN top, faster VPN, that all makes sense, download best VPN, get VPN. Now, another consideration we want to think of, and this is once we get more to the ad group and the campaign targeting, is the devices, right? Because when people are typing in best VPN, are they trying to get that on their phone or on their computer? Because for this product, I don't get credit if people download it via the app, right? I will only get credit if they sign up via my website link, not by downloading it straight from the shop. So that's another consideration that we should look at once we get to the devices part. The world best VPN, okay. What is the VPN? Top 10 VPN. Okay, VPN brands, which VPN is the strongest. And then we just want to go down that list and we just want to see. So this one, for example, fastest VPN has only an 8% CTR, but there's just not enough data to just come in here and say, nope, this is bad, right? I'm going to add this as a negative keyword because it is relevant to what we're doing. Let's come down, best network speed. So for something like this, we want to make sure that we talk about that website speed. So do we talk about website speed? Not really. Right? So this is something we want to add. So we could either add information about website speed on here, or we could just add that as a negative keyword if it's not applicable. Yeah, I'm just trying to find if there's anything about website speed here. And it doesn't look like it. Maybe something at the bottom. Let's see. Yeah, so this says nothing about website speed. Our site here. Okay. So then this is an idea of something we want to remove. And here's what I mean by me saying it's easier with a notepad, because it's not so much about this specific keyword. It's more about network speed. So, for example, we want to use network speed in general as a broad keyword. So if anybody types in anything like VPN network speed, best network speed VPN, the speed of the VPN network or something like that, we don't want our ads to show up because we don't talk about that on our website. Makes sense? Actually, same thing here. Which VPN is fastest in the world? I don't know if we talk about that. Yeah, we don't talk about speed here, do we? That's actually something we should add to our page. That's pretty important. So this is something we'd get from our report. Browse without interruptions. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about speed, right? So either we add that to our page or we just remove that. So anything to do with fastest. Fast. We don't have any information about that on our page. So let's come down. Let's keep going. Yeah, so that's can come down. We got 500. Look at that, 500 different search terms. Unfortunately, Google won't show you everything, by the way. So don't just bank on this report because it's not going to tell you everything. But you can use this as ideas, especially because once we increase our bid and once we remove this and add it as a negative keyword, we're going to get a bunch more keywords from these, or a bunch more ad triggers from these search terms. This is when you really want to look at it and get ideas for what you want to add as a negative keyword, because these are the next keywords that are going to be showing up most frequently after we add that VPN as a negative keyword. So everything else here seems okay for now. Be safe. Yeah. Fastest VPN, right? So here, see? It's like fast VPN, fastest internet VPN, but we don't say anything about that on our page. We got to change that. So as a note to myself, I would probably pause these. I would add these as negative keywords for now, but then I would add a note. I would add a little note. Let's say note. Add something about network speed on your page. Okay, so that's a to-do homework for me to do after this optimization analysis. So yeah, I mean, everything else is pretty straightforward. Everything else seems to look good. We just definitely want to add that VPN standalone as a negative keyword, because as you can see here, right, it's not very effective. It's not very effective targeting. So then what we're going to do is we're going to come in here. We're just going to take these and we could go back to our search keywords, negative keywords, and then we could add this at the campaign level for this campaign, because we don't have anything. And then once we do add something on our site about network speed, then we can come in here and just replace that. But for now, these ones are the ones that are the poorest performing ones. So we're going to save, and there you go. So that's for that. So we come back in here. That was the search term report, right? So we were looking for the bad keyword themes and exact match themes, and then looking for winning search terms. So we can come in here and we just keep an eye out for the ones that have the highest CTR. So again, if we just come back here, go to search terms, the other thing we wanted to do was just go through and look at the high CTR ones. Okay, so best VPN 2024, you know, so this is something also we can add, and we can see if we have that on our ad copy. So we can come in here and say add copy. And then these ones we can remove now. And instead we could say added 5 negative keywords. Again, you can see all this in the search history, but I just like doing it here because I like to keep things organized and kind of just seeing the results of each session. So like that. Add something about network speed. Okay, so add copy. Let's make this caps. Let's say add copy. So let's look at the best ones and see if we have that in the ad copy. So best VPN in the world. Okay, a little bold of a statement, but maybe something we can try because it has the highest CTR, even though not a lot of data. Best VPN. I'd say at least over 300 impressions or so, because 4 impressions is just not enough at all. And then, yeah, we would just note the ones that have the high CTRs. So as of right now, it's these two, Best VPN 2024. And yeah, so that's it for that. So we've added the negative keywords. We took notes of the best search terms here. So let's come back in here. And now we can come down and compare with ad group average, right? So that's what we have been doing the entire time. We've been looking at the CTR with the rest of the search terms and keywords and ad groups. So come in here, look through it, and everything looks solid. So now, if we come back in here are the results, right? So we would be pausing low performing, low quality score keywords, or we would be doing these. So if we don't get enough impressions, for example, we'd be adding additional broad match long tail keywords. We'd be looking for additional keywords using the keyword planner. We'd be adding the good search terms as new keywords, which we don't have to do because we already have these ones, the Best VPN 2024, we have that one as a keyword here, Best VPN 2024. Best VPN in the world doesn't have enough data yet to just put it as a separate keyword. However, once we start running data again without that VPN negative search term, then we could potentially put this as a broad match keyword, and we could get data and new ideas that way. And then we can target competitor keywords as well. So these are the strategies if you want to scale. So if you see that your keywords are doing very well, then this would be the more so go-to strategy. For us, our go-to strategy was this, because we spent $250 on a keyword that is just very, very poor quality, right? So we didn't pause it, but we added it as a negative keyword, so it no longer shows up. So that's what we did at the keyword level. So we want to come back and we just want to do the same thing for each and all of the ad groups that you have. Just repeat the same process. And this should drastically, guys, increase your interaction rate, which is the click-through rate in this case, and your conversion rate. Because now you're pointing Google, you're shifting Google in that right direction and saying, hey, we shouldn't be targeting these people with all of these searches because they're irrelevant for us. So that's that. But now let's keep going. So let's zoom out. And now let's go to the next step. The next step is here, the ad level. So keep in mind, by the way, these things, they just give you direction, right? It's not like if you don't get enough impressions, then you need to look at these two. And then if you don't have enough budget, you need to look at these two. In general, yes, like you set the budget at the campaign level and you determine the impressions at the keyword level. But these are more so guidelines for you to just keep in the back of your mind as you go through the list. So for the ads, we do the same thing. We want to come in and we see if there are any issues. There are many, many, many different error messages you can see for the ads. Those are just some of the biggest ones, the most important ones. Or not the most important ones, but the most common ones. So over here, you would just look at the status and you would see, if it's disapproved, why was it disapproved? If it's limited by policy, what the policy is, can you fix it? If the destination is not working, that's huge. If there's a policy violation, what can you do to fix it? And low quality score. So the low quality score we would be fixing on the keyword section. More relevant keywords, and we would also be adjusting our ad copy, okay? So if we see that there's no messages, everything's fine, let's look at the ad copy. Let's come in here. Let's click at it. And here are the keywords for this, right? And now we have more insight into the actual search terms. Now that we went through the search term report, we have better insight into what people actually typed in. Because these are keywords, these are just catch-all variables. This isn't what people are actually typing in. So we want to see if our ads now match what we have here. Something like this, right? Best VPN 2024, best VPN in the world is a little scary to use. That's not something that I usually recommend, but maybe something you could try if that's what people are looking for. So we come down here. The first thing you'll notice is that all the headlines here are pretty much the same. So for example, the top seven VPNs and best VPNs or so. So I just got lazy and I just didn't want to come up with new ideas, but that is not good. So of course you want to come in and actually make good and unique headlines. So top 7 fastest VPNs, 7 fastest VPNs. Yeah. So instead, let's just delete it. Don't just repeat the headline because then Google's going to waste its precious impressions and clicks on pretty much the same idea. And the concept here is to test, right? So instead of that, what we could do is add best VPN 2024. Let's see if we have that. Yeah, we have that. So we don't have to add it again. So instead we could add some features. So if you start adding about the speed of your VPN, about how fast it is, that is definitely something I would add. And by the way, if we're talking about fastest VPNs and we don't say anything about speed, we should definitely remove that keyword, okay? So that's a big problem. Yeah, so I think I just used these ideas here. So compare top VPNs. Okay, so that one's pretty good. I like this one. Compare top VPNs for 2024. We don't have that. It's more of a like call to action / keyword. That one's pretty good. And then, yeah, just go through this and see because, right, we don't say anything about speed. So make sure you remove any mention of speed unless you add it on your page. VPN expert reviews, top VPN reviews. Yeah, so it's kind of similar. Let's remove that. Let's see some suggestions. Secure, high speed. Okay, so secure we can say because we do say that it is encrypted with this way and yeah, so it's got this special encryption, right? So we do say that it is secure here, uses 3 VPN security protocols, so we can say that, but we can't say high speed. Well, as a combination of secure and high speed, we could try this and see how that works. So we can do that. And then headlines, let's see what else. Great value for money. I don't know about that. People might not be ready to buy yet. They're just exploring. We're just targeting those middle / top of the funnel audiences so that we can retarget to them later on. Browse without interruptions. Maybe top VPNs for browsing without interruption, something like that. Best VPN deals. Let me just move these up like that. Makes it a lot easier. Best VPN for streaming. And then best VPNs for PC. Okay, so that one If we're not targeting only PC, which I don't believe we are in this case, then we probably shouldn't add that here, because this is a general ad group with general keywords, nothing to do with especially VPN or anything like that, right? We're not saying our keywords have nothing to do here with just Windows. And under devices, I don't think we excluded anything there yet, which we'll get to. So we can't say for PC. Instead, we should use this ad on the PC campaign, which is another campaign that I have there. So VPNs tested. We could leave it like this. You could add the 2 additional headlines, but that's not necessary. As long as you have the different ideas and your headlines match your exact keywords, that should be fine. And then, for example, I'm looking at here, secure up to 10 devices, right? So people aren't searching for that. They're not looking for something like a VPN that secures more devices. We didn't see that in the search term report. So that's not something we should really market actively. Overcome blocks. I would say something like top anonymity VPNs, but again, looking at our keyword report, nobody has searched for that, right? It's mostly high speed. People are looking for high speed. They're looking for the best. Unfortunately, the word best is a little vague. We don't know what they mean, but this secure high speed is definitely down in the funnel compared to top. People are just comparing top. They don't know what metrics they're looking for. These guys are very specific about exactly what it is they're looking for. So we would keep monitoring that search term report, and then we would see what is important to people, which specific characteristics. But in the meantime, everything else is okay. It matches our keywords. So then here we say 3,000 servers for fast, anonymous, and 100% money back guarantee. Okay. So one thing is we didn't see anybody caring about money back guarantee, right? People are just shopping and trying to see what the best VPN for them is, without necessarily worrying about money. So that is something potentially we could remove. We can keep it for now and see some more data with the keyword report, but something for us to consider, a consideration. We reviewed the top 7 VPNs. Okay, so what I would like to do is say something like what our review is based on. So 100% anonymous. Okay, so we're repeating ourselves here. Maybe we can keep that one. So again, we're saying fast, but we don't say anything. So we can say something like, instead, we reviewed the top 7 VPNs in terms of, you don't have to use title case, by the way. In terms of, what did we review it? In terms of anonymity, security, access, and then here we just say fast servers, but we don't explain it, right? So people that are searching specifically for fast servers, they're not getting any information from this page. So come blocks, access, and we can just say, and support. Since we have room, let's fill it up with customer support. We review the top 7 VPNs in terms of anonymity, security, access, and then we can even do ampersand, get a little more attention. Okay, so that's a little more specific about what we do. So that's probably a little better description here, a little bit more tailored and suited towards those keywords that we saw, right? The search terms. 3,000 countries for fast. We reviewed the top 7 VPNs, try them risk-free. So again, here, right, people are probably not ready for free trials and refund policies. They're just not there yet. So in fact, what I'd like to do is let's just replace that like that. And then a good practice would be for you to also come in here and leave add notes. So actually we can do it here. We can say add notes, and we can say no mention of price or free trial. No mention of fast speed, unless of course you do that on the page. So that way for your future ads, you have this little notepad that tells you what you should and shouldn't do, right? So let's come down here. No images, no business name. So in our case, I do have the advertiser name, Ivan Mana. That's what I verified it under my company. So I'm not sure if this could work, if I could make it like as a separate name, as a separate company. So something for us to look into as well. And by the way, let's say over here, changed ad copy to be more specific and tailored. Here we have site links, which we will get into. Okay, so let's click save. Alternatively, what you could do is you could just duplicate this ad and then pause this one and then make all the changes in the new one. And that way you'll be able to keep track of all the changes. You could either do it that way, or you can just keep a notepad and just say, don't mention any of this, don't do that. So the other thing is I noticed we don't have a split test. So I'm only running one version when I should be looking at multiple. So what we can do is click on View Asset Details, and let's get some ideas for some of our top performing assets. So this one, for example, got the most impressions. So Google will generally show the headlines and the descriptions most that offer the highest click-through rate. So we can be fairly certain that the ones with the top impressions are the ones that Google determined are the good ones. So we don't have enough data here that says how well our headlines and descriptions are, but we can use this impression data for now until we get that. So for example, see, these are the descriptions that people looks like found the most interesting with specific details, right? Specific details. Top 7 best VPNs, best VPN service. Okay, now let's look at the lowest ones. Like live chat support, free trials and discounts. And these are extensions or assets, so they're not the ads, but let's look for, let's say, asset type. And let's go to headlines. So reviewed by our VPN experts, not doing so hot. Best VPN deals. Okay, so see deals. That's what I'm talking about. People aren't ready for deals yet. They're just exploring. They just want to see. They're not that far down in the bottom of the funnel yet for us to be able to do this. So best VPN deals we got to replace. So we're going to split test our ad with these ideas here. Try to copy. Best VPN deals in 2024. Bad, right? Let's look at compare top VPN, secure, high speed. Okay, so, but over here as we go through the list, VPN tested by our experts. So this one's not doing so hot either. VPNs tested by our experts, okay? It's tested by our experts. So this is also something we want to, not that it's bad, and frankly, we don't know how bad it is until Google assigns it a score based on the CTR metrics. But according to the search term report, right, we can kind of fill in the blanks and we can see that, hey, people aren't there yet. So, and looking at the impressions, doesn't seem to match. So headlines, VPN expert reviews. Okay, so now for descriptions, we never want to split test multiple things. So we don't want to come in there and change these and change the description as well, because then we won't know what is the contributing factor to our split test success or failure. So instead, we can keep track of these descriptions here. See, where's that? These ones, and we can see, yeah, so they're all doing pretty well except this one. Oh yeah, because that one's new. Oh yeah, and by the way, these ones are under review because we just added them. Duh. Okay, so that's fine then. So now what we can do is let's come back now that we have that data, and we can just create a split test. So we can come in here, Control C, Control V, and then we're gonna change those up. Oops. If ad exists, we will create a duplicate. We're going to paste it, and then we're going to change those things up with, we can try even a dynamic keyword insertion. So let's try that. Or another angle. Let's come in here and see. So people are interested in the exact features, right? They're no longer interested in the benefits. These people that are more so interested in the features of what exactly can you do. So we can say something like AES encryption, leak protection, and kill switch. So we can try that as an ad. Or AES 256 encryption, right? Or if we don't want to go into this specific detail because they all vary, we can say detailed AES encryption report, for example, right? So here's our ad. Let's come in here. Let's remove these two headlines. Best VPN deals in 2024. Close out of that. And reviewed by our experts. Best VPN deals. Okay, so see, people aren't ready for deals. Oops. What did I just do? I hate how it does that. Let's click here. Paste it, just move it up a little bit. Okay. So now we want to try a few things. One is, let's try the keyword insertion tool and see how well that does. So whatever people type in, whichever keyword triggers that, that's what's going to show up. So let's come in here and try that. So we're going to squiggly bracket, keyword insertion, and we're just going to make it title case. And for the default, we could say top VPN reviews or something like that. And then whatever keyword people type in, it's going to show up. So if people type in something like, what is the best VPN for streaming? And that's the keyword that triggers it. It'll say best VPN for streaming there. So we can test that out. Top VPN reviews. Yeah, let's see if we have that already. Top 7 VPNs. Yeah, that's fine. It's the default. And then what we can do is say something like, get more specific, right? Talk about the features because people are slightly down that funnel. So we can say detailed AES encryption report, for example. Let's see how that works. Encryption review. That's perfect. AES. What else can we do? Let's see. It's like I want to say something like number of available servers, for example. I want to say something like we reviewed by the number of available servers. So reviewed number of servers, let's say that. Number of servers reviewed, for example, okay? So now we can test this and we can see these versions and see how well they do compared to that other ad. And for this one, for example, we can come in here and pin it to only be in position 1. And then for these ones, we can just let Google decide. So don't worry about the ad strength, really doesn't matter. It does say make your headlines more unique, but what I did notice is that this value does change occasionally as well. Depending on when you click it, like if you add a little number here, this might change entirely, or a letter. So yeah, that's okay. That's gonna be our test. We're gonna hit save ad. And the interesting thing is that if we click on edit here, this ad strength is good, right? Even though this actually has even worse headlines. It doesn't even have any of that dynamic insertion, and it doesn't have the 2 new ones that we added. So go figure. That's why I like to just disregard it. I like to use this for ideas and kind of see where I'm at. But sometimes it does things like this, where it seemingly gives you contradictory information. So we created a split test. That is important. So we can come in here to the top, change that copy to be more specific. Added a split test with feature focused headlines. And now we're going to see, so these are notes that we want. And then for ad copy, we can remove that. So let's go down the list. So that's ad copy. Okay, so let's look at the assets or extensions. Should change that to assets. So for extensions or assets, we're going to click here. And let's take a look at what we got. So here we see all the extensions. So that's just a little too many. So I like to just filter it by, let's say, where's the site link? Right here. And then we'll just look at all the site links. And then I like to segment, and then this extension versus other, because you want to see, because these assets, when you see the data for them, it's not like people clicked on this asset. People clicked on the ad, which had the asset. But if you segmented by this extension versus other, then you now see how many people actually clicked on this extension versus how many people clicked on the ad. Make sense? So we see all this data here. For example, for this extension, for this one, FAQs, right? Read the frequently asked questions. We answer the common questions. I feel like we missed the mark with these assets. We really missed the mark. And you can tell that by the CTR, right? So you have 9.17 here versus 0.06. So very, very low, 0.06. 0% here, CTR. So top VPN for iPhone and iPad. Yeah, so why is this one under our general keyword list? That shouldn't be there. Right, so we don't want that here. So let's just pause it, and then we would create new ones. We would create better ones. FAQs, frequently asked questions. So people, kind of hits the mark. People are looking for these things. They're looking for fastest. They're not looking for FAQs. They just want to get straight to the point. They want to see which one is the fastest based on these specific metrics that I'm looking for. So this is just kind of, it's like too broad. It's there for no reason. Overall, best VPNs, this could work, which is why you are seeing some clicks here as opposed to the other ones. But we still want to be a little more specific. So in fact, what I think would be better, like read our testimonials. Why the hell would this work? Like testimonials for what? Right, so these are all bad. All of them really, really bad assets. This one is okay, maybe we can keep it, but let's create new ones. So let's add them at the campaign level. And then what we could do instead is we could be more specific. Now that we know that these people are focused on the specific features, we could point those out. So AES encryption review. We review the VPNs based on security. Reviewed VPNs based on security. See our results. So that's what I would do instead. Come in here, copy that, paste it. Site link text here. And then what else? We reviewed based on servers. Number of countries, servers, number of servers available. So we got to redo these, right? Number of servers available. We reviewed based on server availability. We reviewed We reviewed server availability. Let's do that. And then here we can say, see our results. These parts here, descriptions, they're just good for taking up more space. So don't worry about making them perfect. But over here, at least, it's a little bit more specific for people who specifically want to focus on each of these. And then again, copy, paste. Oh, we can't use the same URL. So what we can do is we can just separate it out. So we can say, for example, at, and then we can point them out to that servers part. So servers. And then here at encryption, if you have that encryption section. So encryption. Now this assumes that you actually go in there and you fix it. So you have to select the section in Elementor. We're using Elementor to build out this page. And then you just click on the CSS ID, you give it a name, and then whatever name you give it, that's how you would add this. And this is a good way to be able to, did it not save the encryption? Yeah, there it is. And that's a good way to get around this restriction that Google Ads has where they say you can only use one URL, like you can't use the same URL for site links. So that's how you would get around that. Let's enter one more. So nothing about price or reviews or discount or thing like that. We don't want to do that. Never keep, okay, so let's say we reviewed by anonymity, right? Even though it's kind of the same as AES inscription, or maybe different. Let's say we reviewed anonymity. How do you spell that? What are some anonymity factors? Never keeps data. So maybe something like we reviewed all the protocols and logs. We reviewed. It would certainly help if you understand a little bit about this stuff so you could write about it, because I am quite in the dark about this. So we reviewed the protocols and VPNs, see what we found, for example. And then for this one, if we have a section then for that part, let's suppose over here. Oh yeah, and over here. Yeah, these are the most unimportant parts. The pricing, support, that's not very important to people here. And then here we can say anonymity, for example, if we have that section. So these are, I think, much better, much more relevant site links now. So we're going to see how these ones do. Number of servers, AES. And then let's go through the other ones. So let's say we have the callouts, maximum VPN security. Okay, so free trials and discounts. Look at these. Look at the CTRs. Out of 454 impressions, not a single click. Not a single click on this extension. So maximum VPN security, that could be good. So we can leave that for now to test. But these other ones like free trials, people don't need that, right? People, that's not what they're looking for. 24/7 live chat support. Not based on our search term report. That's not what they're looking for. 100% money back guarantee, definitely not. They're not there yet. So let's add additional better callouts here. We can add that at the campaign level. We can come in here and we can say, like these ones. We can take these, DNS leak protection. We can say switch kill functionality, which is going to be too big, but let's see what we can do. No, that's 25, really? Wow. Okay. Server count. Let's say high server count, right? Because we're describing here the features that people are looking for. Let me just title case it all. Since we have everything else title cased, might as well title case this. But lately, I actually haven't been title casing my descriptions. Headlines, absolutely you need to title case. Descriptions, not necessarily. Contact options. Okay, we could say contact options here. Contact options, as an option, but we don't want to focus on it and say like, hey, they have this amazing support, because people don't care about that. I think that's what they care more about. And this is actually the perfect example of when I was telling you guys about the difference between features and benefits and when you should focus on each. And this is the perfect example of when, especially looking at the keyword report and the exact keywords that you're bidding on, you should not be focusing on the benefits. People already know what the benefits of a VPN are. They're looking for something more detailed in the exact features. So this is a perfect example of that, where you should be focusing more on features rather than the benefits in this case. You don't need to hook them with browse the web with these amazing, this amazing add-on to your life, because people know that. Okay, so let's go structured snippet. Let's look at these. Okay, so we have the brands here. That's okay. We didn't get many impressions. These guys didn't show up too much, and then it's limited by trademark CyberGhost. So that's what I mean by looking at the messages, right? So we want to come in here and then just remove Cyberlink or CyberGhost, because it apparently not letting us proceed. And then we'll just say save. and then outspending review. So now we can keep track of it. And then we could add other extensions as well, like promotion if it makes sense. Okay, and then this CTR is also quite low, so 0.07%. So maybe people aren't interested in the time off, right? So maybe we want to come in here, we want to pause that, and then we just want to add something more relevant to them. Add a promotion. Yeah, so see, problem is with this, if we're targeting the people that are looking specifically for a review, then we're pushing them away by saying, hey, get this at a discount, right? We're just literally pushing them away. So we want to remove it. And then if we do want to replace it with something, then we want to make sure that it's something more relevant, like a relevant deal. Like maybe, I really can't think of anything that would be relevant in this case. So I think it's better off to just remove this extension for now, or this asset, and just see how well we do with everything else, because the CTR here is quite atrocious as well. It wasn't clicked on, right? That's that. If any other extensions make sense, or assets, I keep saying extensions, then we could add them. In our case, it really doesn't. Headline, description, we don't need any more. Business logo, image, yeah. So these are good to add, but you'd have to verify your account. And then call and location, they don't apply to us. So I think that's pretty good for the ads. Let's go back to the campaigns. Let's add now here that we have added a bunch of extensions, or we changed assets to focus on features. We could specify site links, call out. Did we change the structured snippet ones? I don't remember. No, we didn't. Just call out, and then we removed promotion. So something for us to keep track of. So we can keep this in an Excel sheet and just go like every week. We would have this and put up all of these changes. Okay, so that is it for that. So that's for the assets. So now let's look at the landing page and let's see if we give people what they promise. So let's go through the ad and the keywords. So let's come in here. Let's scroll to the top. Let's start with the keywords and then we'll go through the ads. So somebody types in something that resembles Best VPN service, and then they see this ad. Top 7 VPNs. Is that relevant? Yes, I'd say so. Best VPN, everything here seems to make sense. The only exception is, I think, Best VPN for streaming, but it does seem to have a high CTR, so we can keep it for now until we get more data. Maybe a few hundred impressions, I'd say. This is not enough. Best VPN 2023, I don't know what that's doing there. Best VPN, well, if people are still typing, we can keep it, but good VPN, fastest VPN, top VPN. Okay, so now we want to look at the ad. Good VPN, fastest VPN, top VPN. Do our ads talk about that? Right, so here again, we see the keywords. Good VPN, fastest VPN. Now, gaming VPN, that might or might not work. I'm not sure. Because if we're saying gaming VPN, then we should probably create some headlines that say gaming VPN, right? We don't have any. But there's also not enough data for that. So we can just leave it as is for now. Take the lazy approach, not do anything. Easiest, laziest, until we get more data. So best VPN, top 7 VPN, top 7. Yeah, so I mean, it all matches. It all matches here in terms of the ad. But then once we see that ad, people see this. Does that match? Does the page match? So top 7 VPNs for 2024. VPN expert reviews. Compare the top VPNs. Does that match? Yes, I'd say so. The only thing is the fine tuning that we've adjusted, right, with the keywords, talking about fast. When people type in fast with the keywords, I guess we remove those negative keywords. But basically, when you go to the negative keywords, people typing in fast, we want to make sure that we deliver that if we want to use those keywords. So that's about it. I mean, this, like I was saying, looks pretty relevant. Top 7 VPNs. You have all these options here as well, by service, by location. So we could explore those later on, but those are for other campaigns. So that's okay. So then let's do page loading speed. So pagespeed.web.dev. So let's type that in. Pagespeed.web.dev. And let's check the loading speed of our page. And then let's grab the URL. Paste it here, analyze, and we're going to see on mobile. So this is going to be important to track because we're going to see on our devices how much traffic we're getting. We're going to see desktop and mobile, and we're going to see how good the page speed is. So we're going to give it a second to load. Okay, so there you go. So let's look at the largest contentful paint, 1 second to load. So that's good. Anything under 3 seconds is good. Anything over 3 seconds, obviously that's a problem. Now this is on desktop. Let's check mobile. 3.5. Okay, so that is not good. So we would look at to see what that largest element is. So this one, so that's the front page. So maybe we want to change the image for mobile or extra compress it or something, because this is just taking up too much space, right? It's taking up a lot of time. So I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I understand what each and every single one of these things mean. You would likely have to contact a developer if you really want to fine tune it. But the general idea here is that this largest contentful paint, the largest image, takes a long time to load and causes our image to load a long time as well. So something we want to look at as well. This is going to be important. So this is going to be a note that we're going to add to ourselves. Add something about network speed on your page. That's good. And then remove, let's just say, and then remove the negative keywords about it. And another note, increase web mobile speed. Maybe reduce image size or replace image or something like that. So yeah, we could say note number 2, or we can just say, like, have a little, however you guys want to do it, just have a little like notes over here like that. And these are separate, these are add notes. Okay, so here's all the changes we've done so far. So quite a lot of changes already that are going to make our campaign so much more tailored, so much more specific. So where are we right now? Okay. So as a result of all of your analyses here, you would either remove irrelevant ad copy, which we did. We removed some of the bad headlines. We would remove irrelevant extensions or assets. I should change that to assets, which we did. We would change landing page wording to improve user experience. So that is what we're going to do. Absolutely. We got to add something about fast because that's what people are searching for. Let's give it to them. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, we should probably add more details about all of these as well. Like AES encryption, we got to add more details about that. How do you know like what this is and how this works and why this works? How did we come up to that conclusion, right? So that's something that we should probably add as well. Now on the flip side, we also want to add new ad copy. We always want to run those split tests, always run split tests. And we can try something else like dynamic replacement, or in your case, if it makes sense, the countdown replacement, the location dynamic replacement, right? Those could be helpful for you as well. So we've done all of these. We've added new ad copy. We removed irrelevant ad copy, ad headlines. So let's go on to the next part, which is the ad groups. So we're going to come in here. Now we only have one ad group for this campaign, so there's not much to do, but we would just have a bird's eye view at this as well. And we would see, let's look at the interaction rate for all the different ad groups and which one is performing the best, which one is performing the worst, and why. So not much to do here, but if we have many, same as with the keywords where we look at the individual keywords, we would do the same thing here for these. Let's close out of that. Come back here. Okay, so now we're going to do location, age, gender, ad schedule, and device analyses to see how well all of these are doing. So let's start with location. Come in here. Let's click on the campaign. VPN reviews, audience, keywords, and content, and go to location. And let's see how well we're doing here, what the CTRs are. So here are the CTRs, the click-through rates. Let me see if we have the column here for conversions. Once we have the conversion data. So let's do conversions. I like conversion rate, conversion value per cost. And, sorry, I like all conversions, not just conversions. And cost per conversion, CPA. And that should be it. Let's name this conversions. Unfortunately, you have to create a column for every single segment here. Just it doesn't go through. So once we see the conversion data, you'll see that here. In the meantime, we could focus on CTR. Now, we see Canada with a high CTR. The issue is, from my experience, I noticed that even though Canada has a high CTR rate in general, the conversion rate's actually lower. So this isn't something that we can go in, and this is only thanks to my experience, this isn't something that we can go in here and just remove the bid, because I know that my audiences in Canada are actually much less likely to buy. So this is something that we could definitely find value in if we have conversion value, if we're promoting our products. If you are promoting affiliate products and you are unable to add the tracking pixels to their backend, then you're kind of in a pickle. But this isn't something that we can just come in here and just immediately change the bid, simply because of my experience with this. But everything else seems to be roughly around the same number. Like if we look at, the average being 10%, this is 9, this is 10, this is 10, this is 10. So all of them are 10 except the United States, which is just below 9, but then we'd really have to look at the conversion data here. Now we could also look at the states. So we could come in here and we can go, you can choose how you want to filter it by states or cities or regions or counties. Let's go by states. And then here you can see the states as well. So if we go by CTR, let's look for something with more data. Like New Jersey has a pretty high CTR, 12%. 11%, right? Above average, 10% or almost 11. And then you see some of the lowest ones, like this one, Virginia, with an 8% CTR. That's dragging this down. So something about Virginia that's not really helping us. Now, unfortunately, it's just not enough data to really make any decisions, and there are a lot of different cities and states, obviously. So I'd wait until at least I get about 500 or so impressions in a lot of these states before making any notable decisions. Otherwise, look, a lot of the states didn't even get any traffic. So how can we make adjustments if we didn't even get any traffic yet? So we'll come back. Let's go back here. Let's go back to locations. And so that's that for the location targeting. So we can see here the CTRs are pretty much the same, with Canada being the exception, but historically speaking, they haven't bought the best. So I'd assume that the conversions would also be lower in this case. So let's just come in here. Let's go to age. So for age, we're going to go to audiences. And we can see the age over here. Click on show table. Again, we want to see the conversions. Let's click on columns. Okay, we have the conversions column enabled there. So we can see the conversions here, if you have them, of course. And then here we can see the ages. So we can see here, for example, 65 plus has a really low conversion rate, or in this case, CTR. So perhaps this is something that we can reduce the bid on by a little bit, maybe 10%. See how that goes. Because we only want the most relevant, right? These two are the most relevant, the 25 to 44. And this is also the group that has money, as opposed to 18 to 24-year-olds with a 9%. So maybe for these guys, we want to decrease it by 10% as well. Decrease 10% bid. 45 to 54. 10%, that's okay. 55 to 64 kind of coming into this category, so we can decrease it. Maybe this one we can decrease by 15. And then this one we can decrease by 10. Oh, not increase it. Don't do that. Let's decrease it by 10. There you go, okay. Unknown, yeah, this is kind of tricky, because unknown could be any of these, so we don't want to touch that. But that is very, very sneaky, very, very sneaky. Very difficult to manage. So that's it for that. Let's go into gender. And over here we can see these, all of these. So in cases like these where they're just very close and they do have a lot of impressions, you're stuck wondering, what should I do? So it has over 1,000 impressions, kind of our benchmark. But is this a good enough number? So in cases like these, I really like to use the statistical significance calculator. Wow, that was a mouthful. Neil Patel statistical significance. Just type that in. Have this. I'll put a link to this below the video as well. And here we don't have conversion data, so we'll just use the clicks data. So we got for this one 1,000, 53. We got 3,611. Then we got 97. I'm going to Control C. Go back here. And we got 367. Okay, so the results are test B converted 11% better than test A. So by 11%, it's not like 11%, 11%, it's 11% of that 10%, right? Which makes it the 9 and 10. So it did perform 11% better than that. So I am 93% certain that the changes in test B will improve. So not certain. It says, unfortunately, your results are not significant. So in order for the results to be statistically significant, it's got to be 95% certain at least. The more the better, of course. So the more data you have, the better it is. So in this case, this just isn't statistically significant for us to come in and say, okay, let's reduce the female bid by 5%. It's just not at this point. So we're going to leave it as is for now then. So let's come in here. Let's see age, gender, ad schedule, and device. So let's go to ad schedule. Okay, so we didn't set any ad schedule. So then we want to come back into insights and reports and where and when our ads showed. And then we can see the ad schedules here. So not enough data, again, same as with the locations. There's just too many hours in a day, right, to get enough relevant data. But I'd say, like, again, at least a few hundred impressions to make any meaningful decisions. You can get like a bird's eye view, like Thursday, 3 to 4, you know, maybe people are working. That's not going to work. But what you could do is you can get like an idea. So if we sort by this, for example, Friday, 1 to 2 p.m., okay, has a high CTR. Tuesday. So let's see if there's a pattern. Let's see if there's a formula. For example, if people after work are more likely to buy, for example, that's the question we want to ask. So Friday, 1 to 2, people are working. So that doesn't fit our theory or our hypothesis that people after or before work are more likely to buy VPN. But for example, Tuesday, 12 to 1 a.m., so late at night, people are looking for VPNs because they're doing some shady stuff, some shady searching on the web, right? And they really need that VPN. So this could work. This fits our hypothesis. Then you have Monday, when people are working. You have Monday at night. Okay. So again, not enough data to go off of, but these are the patterns and the hypotheses, the theories that you'll be testing. Like, okay, which roughly time area do people buy more or convert more or have a higher CTR? So in these two cases with the work, maybe people are just at work and they're looking for a VPN not to be detected or something, or maybe their work requires them to get a VPN. So that's why they're searching for that. Here, Friday again, late at night after work. Wednesday, early morning. Well, not that early, but in the morning, just before afternoon. Yeah, so there's no real theory here. There's really no conclusion we can draw from this. There's really no conclusion. Where as showed, so this is if we have placements, and we don't have any placements for this, so we're not going to see anything here. Let's go to devices. Okay, so here we see the devices. We see the highest click-through rate for mobile phones. However, this campaign isn't set for mobile app installs or something like that, right? So we run into a little dilemma here because the click-through rate, the interaction rate here, is the highest for mobile, but we can't just go in here and just reduce the bid for everything else, because the way we personally get paid with this affiliate campaign is when somebody clicks the link and buys via the link that we provide. And if people are looking for this on mobile, then they're likely looking for an app that they could install as well. So even after doing the research and determining which one's best for them, they could very likely go into the app store and just download the app from there, right? So this is something that would really require the conversion data to see whether these guys actually convert or whether they in fact just go to the app store and buy it from there. If that is the case, then we would just simply reduce the bid for mobile, and we would focus more on tablets and computers. So even though the CTR might be lower, if we do see some conversions here, then that's what we would do. So remember, conversions always take priority over CTR. And in some cases, you guys can't just look at this and say, oh, highest CTR, let me just increase it. You also have to apply some common sense and think and go through the whole customer journey in your mind and think, people that are searching on mobile phones for best VPN, what is going through their head? They're probably looking to compare and then go to the app and install. So if you are trying to install the product itself, then there's no issues. If this is your own product, if it's your own app, there's no issues at all. This is only purely from the point of view of an affiliate, which affiliates have a lot of challenges when it comes to tracking. And all of my experience is based on affiliate marketing. So there is a lot of data that is missed in terms of Google Ads and the affiliate network or product tracking. So in this case, we just have to leave it like this and see if we can message the vendors and see if we can add our Google Ads tracking code or Google Tag Manager tracking code to the website backend so that we can see the conversion data. So that's for the devices. You can come in here and click where ads showed. Yeah, so everything else looks good. Everything else is fine. Device. So what we would do is we would reduce the bids for or remove the underachievers, whichever ad groups didn't do quite so well. And then we would create new winning campaigns for ad groups with their own budget and increase bid for winners. So this would really apply if you have different ad groups and you can compare and see which one does better. In our case, we only have one. But if you have, for example, 10 ad groups and one of them is doing very, very well, then you want to devote and dedicate a special budget for that specific ad group, right? So that's why you're going to take it out and create a whole separate campaign for it. And same thing here with the underachiever ad groups, with the themes. If the theme just isn't doing very well, it's not what people are looking for, we would just come in and just reduce the bid. So if we head back over here into just the regular ad groups, we can click here and we can set our bidding. So in this case, we can, with the max CPC, we can set the max CPC and that's going to apply for the entire keyword group. However you want to do it, the reason why I listed it over here is because in some cases, you aren't able to adjust the bid at the keyword level. You can only do so at the ad group level. So the conclusion from this analysis that we did is that because we only have one ad group, we're still going to give it some time to gather more data to get more location, scheduling, and device data. And if we can, we need to set up that conversion tracking between our affiliate product and Google Ads. So last but not least, here we have campaigns. We're going to look at the campaign level. So are we constrained by budget? And this is something that we would have seen if we go to the campaign level here, if we come over here to search lost due to budget. So this is something we see here. So it's only 1.23%. So no, that's not the case. And then we would also see a little message. We would see a status that says limited to budget. So if that's the case, then we just want to come in here and increase that budget by 20% every 3 or 4 days. But in our case, that's not applicable. So we just go down. So we say, do you have a big enough remarketing audience? So that's for the next step. Let's talk about the different campaign types. This is a search campaign. Could we remarket to the people that have visited our page? We would go into tools, shared library, audience manager. So we can see here that the site visitors remarketing audience, which I created, is still populating. Now, in your case, you might see numbers. You might see 10, 20, 30. If you have less than 100, you can't even do display campaigns. So you need at least 100 if you hover over. If you don't have enough, if you have like 10 or 50, it'll tell you you need at least 100. You need 1,000 for search, YouTube, and Gmail, and you need 100 for display. So once you have that number, then you can create the remarketing campaigns as we did in one of the previous lessons, the module. But until then, you just can't do that, and you have to keep running these cold traffic campaigns. So the next question is, have you gotten at least 30 conversions in the last 30 days? And is the conversion growth consistent? So again, this is an affiliate campaign, so we don't have the conversion data here. But if you do, you want to look at the campaigns here. Click on campaigns. Click on campaigns. You want to look at this and you want to see, hey, how many conversions have I gotten over the past few days, over the past 30 days? Have I gotten 30 conversions, and have those numbers been growing? Because if not, then that means that the Google signals aren't going as well as they should, and they're not finding your target audience. If you are getting at least 30 conversions a month, and they're increasing, you're getting more and more conversions every week, then you can consider switching the strategy, the bidding strategy. And the reason for that is because if the number of conversions is increasing steadily, that means that Google signals are understanding your audience and are doing a good job, that you can now give up more control to them because they'll be able to find you more of that good audience. Make sense? So if that's the case, then we can just come in here under campaigns, and we would ideally switch the bidding strategy here from manual CPC. Our ideal bidding strategies are maximize conversion value and maximize conversions right here. So we would set a target cost per lead. Let's say I want to pay no more than $20 per lead. And then for target conversion value, I want to get a 200% return on ad spend. So you would enter these goals. Ideally, that's the direction you want to go, but you do need conversion data for that. So until you do that, you really can't do much. After that, if we want to optimize our campaign and not spend as much money, we would reduce the budget or pause the losing campaigns, and we would add a target cap bid strategy. So we would set a limit. So for example, here, we're setting a limit for manual CPC on our ad groups. We're saying, hey, I want to pay no more than 6, right? Because alternatively, you could come in here, and if you are noticing that you're just paying way too much, then you would set the target cost per action. If you want to fully trust Google, then you just leave it off and you see how well they're doing. So that's that for that. And then for scaling, if you want to scale, then you would create different campaign types. So if you have that remarketing audience, you can go in there and create display campaigns, video campaigns, demand gen, performance max. You would increase the budget 20% every 4 days. You would move bid strategy to smart bidding. So that's that target ROAS and target cost per conversion. You would expand to new regions, add new countries, and you would try new languages. So these are the scaling tactics here if you see that your campaigns are doing well. And these are the optimization / reducing of your extra spend. So that is it. So if we look here at our notes, we've increased the bid, we've added 5 negative keywords, we've changed that copy, we've added a split test, and we've changed assets. Everything else we're just leaving as is. The notes are, what we should be doing is note 3 is ensure proper conversion tracking setup between vendor and Google Ads. So that's what we did. These are the notes based on this optimization. So we need to add something about the network on our page. We need to increase mobile speed, and we need to ensure proper tracking is set up. And then for the ad notes later on, when we create new ad copies, we will make sure to not do these for our keywords. Make sense? And that is all. I hope the Google Ads optimization process is much easier for you to go through now. If you found value in this video and are interested in my new membership site that covers details like this and more, just sign up to my list at ivanmena.com and I'll email you first when the course is out. That's all I wanted to share with you in this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.